Hello and welcome to the League One Lowdown, brought to you as always by the Deck Network. I'm Callum, and joined with me on this week's episode is Jamie and Sam. Jamie, we'll start with you. How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you, Callum. How are you?
Not too shabby, not too shabby. Sam has spent far too much on Ferrari merch in the past couple of weeks. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm much poorer for it, but all good, my friend.
Beautiful stuff, beautiful stuff. Well, on this week's episode, as always, as you might have read in the title, we'll be offending somehow every single League One club by ranking your stadiums based on whatever facts. I guess mainly vibes, to be honest. A lot of it, whether it's facilities, whether it's capacity, experience, atmosphere, based on how we've experienced it, if we've been there, that sort of thing, and we'll rank them as we go along. Any particular order you want to do this, gents? Top to bottom, best to worst, worst to best?
It'll be alphabetical order with the teams from the left-hand side first.
Alphabetical order. So sorry, Wycombe fans, you got a while to wait. Let's start with Wimbledon. Then, Jamie, where have you put them?
Yeah, I mean, this falls for me. There's a few that I think it's categories you sort of end up putting these in. We've got a lot of sort of what you call like these bowl stadiums, and they look the same sort of grounds. Then you've got a few of the really old classic sort of grounds, and you'll see sort of where I put them in comparison to each other. And Wimbledon is one of those. AFC Wimbledon is one of those that I put in the smaller, not quite a bowl, but pretty much is a bowl category. And I put them quite low down out of my list, so they fall in the lower end, and I have put them as I tried to find them on my list because I've got them down as Plough Lane on my list. I've got them in 20th AFC Wimbledon.
Interesting. Sam, yourself?
Yeah, I've got them in the same region for exactly the same reasons, and if you annoy their security guards there, you get beaten up for it. So I've put them in 18th.
Oh dear. I've gone. I don't know whether this is difference in taste. I've gone completely opposite. I quite like that it's like in the middle of some flats. It's like proper embedded in the community, that sort of thing. I'm not too. I quite like that. So I've gone 6th. I just think it's quite unique, quite quirky, perhaps. I don't know. I quite like that modern aesthetic. I get why people like the bowls, don't like the bowls. I don't think it's quite a bowl. So. That's why I've gone probably slightly higher than the vast majority of people. Barnsley and Oakwell. Seb, who's not with us, probably would have put this top, but realistically, it's not there. I've gone 9th with myself on this one. I feel like it's classic, not too bad, but all right.
Yeah, I've got Barnsley in 6th place. I think it is an old school ground, and it is also a very big ground. I've been to Barnsley, and you get that historical vibe with certain areas of the stadium, and it being a larger stadium does help it in its rankings as well.
Jamie, go on.
I think that's not to take too much of the Callum Davis mould of going for vibes, but I feel that is how I've done the majority of this list. I've gone to a few of these grounds, but not the majority. So in quite a lot of these, you sort of fall into those categories of what does it feel like when you see it in pictures or on the television, whatever it might be. And for that reason, they fell into very mid-table for me at Barnsley Oakwell. It's gone into 13th on my list. I don't really know based off much. I like these old grounds, but Oakwell, it just gives off a little bit like it's a bit run down. I don't know if Sam agrees with that, having been to Oakwell, but it's a little bit downtrodden these days. It needs a bit of a spruce.
Yeah, and I think that to me gives it a little bit of history. I quite like that in certain grounds, though. Not all of them, I admit, but in certain grounds, I think it works quite nicely.
We'll see a bit later on as well. Some of the stadiums that are too big for the level that we're at kind of feels like something that will judge or will tempt my ratings anyway. Blackpool, Bloomfield Road, a stadium that I've seen from the outside, and my only memory of it is being just a massive concrete slab, which I think probably has changed in the decades plus since I last saw it. So for me, where have I put them? I've put them quite low down, actually. I think I've put them 16th, which I feel like it's just a bit of a blank orange bowl, I think, personally. But Jamie, yourself?
I've been to Bloomfield Road. We lost 5-0 and it was when the away end was behind the goal. So they've got one corner that's open at Bloomfield Road, and it's the one the wind whips in off the sea through. And we were sat next to that corner, so it was freezing. We lost 5-0. And it was back when Blackpool were protesting against their owners, and so there were more away fans and home fans there because they were like boycotting the game. So it was just based off that one experience. I think I've dragged them down a few, and they've ended up 13th on my list. I think if I had not have been and had that bad experience, it's quite a nice ground. But they've ended up 14th on my list.
14.
Yeah, they're around the same region with me. I've got them in 11th place.
It's non-offensive, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of them where there's that historical bit with like the big poles coming down one of the stands, but it's also starting to become into that bowl shape. But it's still quite a nice ground.
Next up to a club and a stadium that I think I've probably put a bit higher than it deserves, mainly because of the stadium. To be honest, it's the Tough Sheet Stadium. Which is a commentator's dream, from what I can gather, purely based on the name and the fact that it is a Premier League level ground. Okay, it's probably in a bit of a soulless bowl category, but I have put it in 8th.
Okay.
It's one of the bigger, if not the biggest in the league, isn't it? It's 28 and a bit thousand in terms of the capacity. There's a few grounds like this in the division, if you sort of get that. And I've got all 4 is what I'm putting in this category, all next to each other. And this falls in 11th for me.
Oh,
okay. That's higher than I expected, really, for you, Jamie, based on your hating of bowls. Go on, Sam.
I'll put it first.
Oh.
Wow. I think it might be because of what the ground used to have in it, if that makes sense. JJ Kocher, you had people like that, actually, Ivan Campo running around it with Sam Allardyce, turgid football. But the only thing I can say about Bolton is you look at it and you think it's a Premier League ground immediately. The facilities there are unreal. The only thing I had to complain about when I went to Bolton was the amount of bird dirt to the left of the away end. That if you stood probably 2 seats to the left of where I was, all you'd have done is got seagull rubbish all over you. But everything about it is a Premier League ground in my eyes, which is why I think it's the best.
Interesting.
It's very close. The second place one was very, 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 very close.
Interesting. Now to a stadium new to the division for this year, as was Wimbledon to start with, actually. But Valley Parade, a stadium with a lot of history. Not least to obviously those Lincoln and Bradford fans that we remember. The University of Bradford Stadium, I have put top personally. I think it's one of them that the history speaks for itself. It's a huge capacity, even for League One level. Heaven forbid what it was like in League Two. So I hope for their sake they can fill it out and create a bit of a fortress this year, which I think they'll need. But anyway.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I've got them in 3rd. I think there's obviously the history around Bradford. It is a proper old school ground. I've only been into Valley Parade once. It's not a stadium I would rush back to now. I've been there once, but there is the history of it. It is a massive ground, and it has that historical value to it, which is kind of what I base a lot of my grounds on. Does it have history? Does it have a bit of soul? And Bradford does.
To echo exactly what Sam said, for exactly the same reasons, I put them 4th instead of 3rd, but the old school, it's a proper ground, is Valley Parade.
Proper ground. Absolutely love it. Moving on to, from one of the biggest to one of the smallest, not the smallest, we'll get onto them in a little bit, but Burton Albion, a stadium that growing up in that area I've been to several times. I've been to several concerts in the VIP hospitality area there as well, so I know it like the back of my hand. It was not on match days, just other events that were held. I think my school's prom was held there as well, so... the stadium I know quite well. I guess maybe slightly biased compared to where I reckon you put it. I put it 12th.
Okay.
Jamie, your thoughts?
This is one of those that fall into my very small kind of bowl category, and this is that category that I've ranked the least, the worst, if you like. So I'm quite shocked you put them 12th. I'm really interested to see what Sam maybe can be our control group, because I've put Burton's Pirelli Stadium 24th on my list.
Well, it's not 24th on my list. It's 23rd.
Oh dear.
So I just think it's bottom end League Two worthy. I like the terraces, but other than that, it's not got a purpose to me. Send them to League Two. Thank you very much.
I think my bias of having been there several times growing up is very much shown there. Again, from one of the smallest to one of, I think it is the biggest in the division. Cardiff City, the Cardiff City Stadium. I doubt they'll be able to attract sponsors this low down now, given how far they've fallen. I've gone 13th. It obviously is a great ground in terms of its facilities, in terms of like the level that it has been at. It's just not. It's got very little about it, defining features really, at least from the inside.
I think that is fair. I've put them 7th, which in hindsight may be a bit high. Maybe because of its capacity, to be honest, and it was not so long ago a Premier League ground. But yeah, I've put them in 7th. I don't really have a reason why. They just ended up in 7th place when I went through it, to be honest.
You mentioned that the capacity, and the thing I would add to that is that it's an international ground as well. It's obviously
Yes.
where Wales play their games, and I think that does boost it up in terms of that prestige and the sort of matches that have happened there, especially over recent years as well, being Wales's home. So they're doing some decent things in terms of the international football, and for that reason, in terms of the international side of things, I broke my bowl rule and I've put them 5th.
Ooh. Wow, okay. Full of surprises, Jamie. Full of surprises.
If I was quick enough at doing formulas, I would do an average for this. But if you are still here and listening to our terrible opinions, there will be a graphic that goes out on social media, on our Twitter, at League One Lowdown, with the average and then each of our 3 predictions as well, just so it's easier for you to read.
And whilst you're doing all of your League One Lowdown admin, make sure you subscribe, like the video, and follow us on Twitter. Had to get that one in there. We've got to pay for everything somehow. Doncaster Rovers. Then, Jamie, I'll let you go first on this one. I'm sure you've got an opinion.
Yeah, well, look, of course, we did a very similar video in terms of the managers, and I think maybe my bias showed a little bit on Grant McCann because I put him quite highly. That doesn't translate to the stadium because it is the soulless bowl at our stadium, the Eco Power. It used to be the Keep Moat, which I think it's at least what I still refer it to, but it is very soulless bowl, and for that reason, I put it 15th.
15th.
Yeah, it's near enough the same position for me. I've got it 16th for exactly the same reasons. For me, I agree. It's going to be known as the Keep Moat.
Maybe because it's just got eco power in it. I just can't quite like it. It's quite
interesting.
I've put it 11th. I've put it 11th. If it's eco-friendly, doing good for the environment as well. It might just be a sponsor, but if it's doing good for the environment,
it is definitely just a sponsor.
Then why not? Anyway, we'll move on. We'll move swiftly past that. And time to annoy some fans. Exeter City, St James's Park, one of the smaller stadiums in the division. Not small by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that picture sums up perfectly for me why I've put it 23rd. Not bottom, but 23rd. Why have you got a wonky stand?
Yes, 23rd.
It's not symmetrical, Sam.
A wonky stand. That's going to come back to get you in a few picks' time into wonky stands.
I've got it 15th. I quite like it. I quite like the humongous terrace at one end. You've got another terrace down the other end. And then you've got this sort of quirky 3/4 sort of stand that they can't build because of a railway. I just think it's got a bit of, not flair, but it's just got something about it that some stands don't have. Mainly, there's only one other ground here with near enough a 3/4 length stand, but they've got a big terrace. And it's a bit like the League One Dortmund terrace, I look at it as. It's not, but it looks like it. I like that.
I think that's the title, isn't it, for this episode? So, Exeter City, the League One Dortmund. Jamie, your thoughts on
I don't mind St James's Park, the other St James's Park, if you like. They've gone 16th on my list. It's got a little bit of a charm, but it's a little bit one of those a bit like Oakwell, a bit run down in places. But yeah, it's got a nice charm to it. It beats some of the other ones a bit further down.
Huddersfield Town, then, not so long ago, a Premier League ground as well, as were quite a few on this one. Again, one of the bigger stadiums in the division. But I just don't know. There's something so video gamey about it that just feels like this is something that a video game designer would come up as their like stadium. I don't know, which means I've put it quite far down. I've put it 17th.
God, I think you've got a real hatred for Huddersfield this season, haven't you?
Well, I think there's reasons for that.
Or will be revealed in our pre-season preview next week.
God, Jamie, where have you put them?
That I think it's a very similar looking ground to Bolton, and capacity-wise, it's fairly similar. But because it's on the right side of the Pennines in Yorkshire, as opposed to Lancashire, they've gone one place higher up, and I put them 10th.
Not biased at all. Go on, Sam.
I've got them in 5th. I really like the sort of architecture on the roofs of the stands. Obviously, it was a Premier League ground. I've never actually been to Huddersfield. I missed the last game of last season, and I'll probably miss the first game of this season. But you never know; they'll probably be in League One for a third season after this. So.
If this video has proved anything, this podcast has proved everything, it's that we all disagree on everything, and we're probably going to offend everyone at some point during this season. So subscribe so you don't miss being offended.
I do feel like we could, for all the rest of them, we can take a lot of flack. And for Seb putting Conor Horahan as the third best manager in the division, we can take a lot of flack. But on this, I feel like there is no reasoning for any of this. It's just sort of vibes is very the Callum Davis buzzword, but I think that is
this is Callum's favourite show.
Stadiums. This is it. Cause very little thoughts have actually gone into this. It's just, do I like that?
Vibes.
Nah, towards the bottom. One that I've kind of gone a bit higher than you might have thought. I think we're on to Leyton Orient now. Quite an average size stadium, I suppose, in terms of capacity, maybe towards the lower end. But a stadium that I think is quite nice. It's quite embedded into the community as well as with all the stands as well overlooking it. I quite like that. All the flats overlooking it. So I've gone 3rd.
Oh, 3rd.
I've gone quite high up. I don't know, like stadiums where you can just buy a flat or rent a flat and get a proper view of the stadium. I quite like that. So
you keep your job, Callum. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Go on,
Jamie.
Sam. No, we leave Sam's opinion to the end, I guess. So yeah, I put them 6. Similar reasons to Callum. I quite like the flats looking over on that corner, and it's one of those old school sort of grounds. Bit offset in the middle, one of the stand where the away end is. So yeah, it's just got a nice little charm to it, and that really tall stand on the other side.
Yeah, I've put us near enough in the same place. I've got a 2nd. I just think
2nd isn't near enough the same place.
Well, it's near enough the same as yours. The little bit of bias obviously comes in here, having been the club I support, but the flats on the corner kind of make it for me. I don't like them, but no other ground in the country or probably the world has 4 flats on its corners. You've got the historical East Stand, which I'm pretty sure the floor is still made out of wood, of some sort of wood. If you put your foot hard enough through the floor, it probably goes through it. And it's especially the family stand and the West Stand, they're close enough to the pitch as well. So.
Yeah. Talking of bias, Lincoln City. Sam, I'll let you go first. I'll leave my opinions to the end here.
I've got Lincoln City, probably where you'll finish next season as well, in 14th place.
14th place, interesting. Spoiler for our pre-season predictions, Jamie.
Well, I did want to sort of throw back to Callum his quirky stand not quite filling the whole length he said about Exeter before he says his prediction. I think I've also got a bias for LNER Stadium because obviously I did a bit of reporting there over the past 2 or 3 years. So I go there quite a lot and it's got a nice charm. And where we sit in the media bit is right at the top of the stand opposite the big GMB stand. And I think if I was sat in the GMB stand, which stretches the whole way, and it must be the vast majority of the crowd is in that stand in terms of the capacity, I think I'd probably think of the ground less because you're looking at the bad bit, if you like. Yeah. But being where I sit and I look out and it looks lovely from my side, so I've put them 2nd.
Oh, wow. oh, okay. I don't feel as bad now. I think when I make quirky stands, it's the fact that Exeter's is just on one side. It's like you've got to stand on half the pitch and then not the other half. It really throws me off. Lincoln, I've gone 7th. So I thought that was quite high maybe for Lincoln. But I think Lincoln Stadium is kind of everything you kind of really want an average football ground to be. It's in the middle of a community, in the Sinsel Bank area, not too far away from the train station, not too far away from the high street and all the pubs. It kind of is the perfect. I don't know why I've not put it top actually, but anyway.
I thought you were going to do. That's what I was teeing you up for.
No. I've not put it top. That belongs to Bradford. So anyway, Luton Town. Now I feel like this one might split opinions. Kenilworth Road. Everyone who knows anything about football has seen Kenilworth Road, has an opinion on it. Jamie, time for yours. What do you think?
What an amazing football ground Kenilworth Road is. It's what you want from a football ground for me. It's that old school. It shouldn't work, but it does. I mean, everyone's seen the talk about the away end, you walking through someone's back garden, all that sort of thing. All the work they had to do to get it up to scratch for the Premier League in terms of adding all the scaffolding for the media and those extra cameras and the VAR and all that sort of things, all the add-ons, and it's got that charm. And it shouldn't work, as I say, but it does. And I put them first. I absolutely love Kenilworth Road as a ground. And it is the one I want to get to this season. Out of all the teams we're facing now, we're up in the division. It is the one on the list that I must get to Kenilworth Road. I think it's fantastic.
I think annoyingly, all the ticket prices will probably reflect that everyone wants to go to Kenilworth Road. But I've put them second. Similar thinking. It's kind of like, it will be a shame when they move out to that new stadium. Again, similar to Lincoln, it's in the heart of a community, quite easy to get to. I think it's just off a main road in terms of, so if you're traveling by car, God help you if you're not. But it's everything you want a stadium to be, even though it shouldn't work. Sam,
I've got them fourth for near enough the same reasons. I had to put them because of my bias of my own club. It kind of skews that one. But yeah, I just love the entrance, the Domino's away in, and you have to go through somebody's back garden to get it through.
I wondered whether some of us would put it like bottom because it is so bad. Like it is the way it is so bad. But anyway, Mansfield Town and Field Mill. Jamie, where have you popped these?
The One Call Stadium. Yeah, this is one of those that sort of kept getting dragged down in my list, and they've put their away ticket prices at £30 for the first away day of the season for Doncaster. So I think they've been knocked down again a couple for that. But it's a little bit run down. It's a little bit, they've got that, I think they were doing some work on it, weren't they? But there's that one really sort of dishevelled stand compared to the rest of the ground. And they've gone down in 19th for me.
Okay. Sam, your thoughts?
Yeah, I've got them in 21st.
Snap.
Yeah, there's just nothing about it for me, really.
Yeah, snap. 21st for me. I maybe Mansfield Town are on my sniper scope this year. I don't know. Not a big fan, but anyway, just nothing really to write home about. Sixfield Stadium, the only stadium where your game will get moved because of the rugby. So I can't see where I've put them. So I'll throw to Jamie. Where have you put them?
For very similar reasons that I put Burton bottom, I've put them second bottom, 23rd for me. I don't really know what swung me their way instead of Burton because, as I say, they're very, very similar grounds. So yeah, but I put them 23rd.
Yeah, I've got them 20th. The only benefit of Northampton Town is if you want to watch free football, you just go on the hill behind the ground and you can watch it for free.
I don't know what has made me do this. I think this was just like I had a spot spare.
Oh dear.
They've somehow ended up 10th. I don't know how that's happened.
There's always one.
They've ended
There's
up
always
10th.
one that splits through the net, isn't there?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that's happened. But let's put it this way: if I were going to put them any lower, it would mean Burton would be 11th or 10th, and we're not having that. So we'll move swiftly on past that error and go to Peterborough United. I have put these. Where have I put these? My sheet's getting all terrible. Sam, tell me where you've put them, and I'll tell you in a minute where I've put mine.
Mid-table obscurity, 12th place for Peterborough. It's an okay ground. The refurbishment they've done, especially with one of the, I think it's the North Stand. They've got a brand new North Stand. The South Stand's terraced. I like that. it has that old school vibe. It probably could have gone a little bit higher, but mid-table is where they ended up, to be honest, after I put the grounds I actually like above them.
Jamie?
Yeah, it's one I like, London Road. I went last season, and if I discount the fact that it is the most uncomfortable place to sit ever, because
Yes, it is.
it's got wooden seats, and then at the very back it's a bit concretey, and you just can't really sit comfortably at all. But it's got that charm, and it's just a really nice feel to it, that old school feel. So I've put them 7th. Quite a big fan, really, in terms of the some of the soulless grounds. I'll keep coming back to that.
Retrospectively, this has made me realise how bad Northampton was. I kind of wish I'd swapped these two around because I've put Peterborough 14th. So retrospectively, I kind of wish I'd swapped them because it's an all right stadium. It's just not really not offensive, not hurtful. It just exists. Plymouth Argyle, home park. It's just I don't know whether if we rated these on locations, this would just, because it's in Plymouth, would probably be bottom because it's just such an arseache to get to. But I've actually put this 4th. I think it's quite a modern ground, quite nice. I know a bit bowly in parts, but it has got that standalone stand, I think. So home park, I've gone 4th. Sam?
I've got them in 9th. That bowly bit kind of takes it away a little bit, but I really do like the old school stand, and it's probably one of the nicest areas of the country to have a football ground as well.
Nice area, just horrible to get to. And Jamie?
Yeah, very similar to Sam. I've got them in 8th.
8th place. Beautiful stuff. Port Vale, or Vale Park, which is a very imaginative name. I wonder how this will go. Again, maybe this is a bit too high for them. I've gone 15th.
That is a lot higher than I thought it would.
Got a bit of character, I suppose. Whether that's good character or not, I'll leave that up to you two to decide. Jamie?
Not too far away. I've got them in 18th. They're one that's sort of a bit like Mansfield. I mentioned they just kept slipping down my list as I picked grounds I preferred. So yeah, they've slipped down to 18th.
I've got them bottom.
Oh,
wow!
There's just nothing about the ground that I actually like. The seat colour's horrible. None of the stands make sense. They're not level, which is annoying. While I don't like the bowly stands, kind of their stands are kind of all over the place, and then they've got that stupid, really long stand that I've never ever seen filled. You might as well make it a terrace because then it at least looks cool. But yeah, the atmosphere is terrible. The seats are horrible colours. Yeah, bottom.
So Sam, if you go to Port Vale, I'm sure the Vale fans will welcome you with open arms. Moving on to Reading, the Majeski Stadium, obviously a Premier League ground not that long ago. It also doubles as something you can eat your Kellogg's cornflakes out of, because it is the definition of a bowl, in my opinion. That's why I've put them quite low down, 19th for me. Jamie?
Well, they are one of my 4 bowl grounds I put in mid-table. We've had Huddersfield and Bolton. For Reading, I've put them top of my little 4. I've got them in 9th. It's I don't really know why I put them above Huddersfield and Bolton, because they're all very similar. I quite like it, and it's one of those that had that old. It's got a bit of history in that ground as well, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Perhaps ruined a bit by its select car leasing stadium now, isn't it? Whereas everyone still calls it the Majeski, which is what we all remember it as. But yeah, 9th for me, mid-table.
Yeah, I've got them in 8th, near enough the same reasons. I went to Reading last season. There's probably that bit of sort of not feeling sorry for them, but there's still that sort of vibe I get from them at the moment. And yeah, a bit of goodwill, but until they start winning every game next season, that's why they're
Call this ignorance or maybe a lack of research. I do wonder where the name Majeski came from. I wonder that.
The owner.
Chairman. Oh, there you go.
Owner,
there you go. Every day's a school day on League One Lowdown. Rotherham United and the New York Stadium, or the ASIL New York Stadium, or whatever it's called these days. I've gone 18th. It's very red in that picture, isn't it?
It's very red.
Very red.
Yeah, very similar to Callum. This is another one I've been to. I put them 17th as opposed to 18th. It is a bowl, and then it misses half of one of the stands running parallel to the pitch. So it's almost a bowl, but not quite. And you get a nice view if you sit opposite this shorter stand. You get a nice view. There's some hills in the distance, and at night time for the night games, it's quite a nice view up that way. But yeah, 17th for me.
Yeah, I've got them in 17th as well. It's the furthest thing away from New York, isn't it? So it's actually criminal that it's called the New York Stadium.
Again, you wonder why it's all like these names come from. Stevenage.
Well, this is I don't know if I should say this on the podcast because I don't know if this is true, but I was told once that it's called the New York Stadium, and someone can check this out in the comments and let us know if I'm right or not, because they used to make New York fire hydrants where that ground is. It used to be like a warehouse where they made the little red fire hydrants. They're in New York. That's why it's called. That's what I've been told. So that may not be true, but I'll find out. And on the transfer update later in the week, I'll let you know if I was right or not.
You wonder if anyone's ever got lost thinking they're ended up in America and just end up at Rotherham. God, I feel sorry for them. Stevenage next. I've put these quite low down. It doesn't hold many people. I've put them 22nd. It's there.
Yeah, exactly the same for me, 22nd.
Yeah, same for me as well. The only good thing to ever come out of Stevenage was Lewis Hamilton. So.
There you go. Wonder if they'll finish there as well. 22nd. I don't know. We'll see. Not another spoiler for the episode. Stockport County and Edgeley Park. Again, quite average in terms of capacity and what it holds, but I've put it quite above average. Whether that's atmosphere from what I've watched or just in terms of vibe, obviously you can see it's right in the heart of a community as well there. So I've gone 5th.
Okay, I rate that, to be honest. I've put them a lot lower than I wish I did. I've put them in 13th. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. They probably should have been a little bit higher, but they've ended up in 13th. There's more grounds that I like about them, and I don't like that the away end doesn't have a roof over it. It will for next season, but it doesn't at the moment. It's a bit like Gillingham's.
So an outdated prediction already there from Sam. And Jamie.
I'm a big fan of Edgeley Park. I went not this season just gone, but the season before. And the away end when I went for Doncaster, it was nestled in the corner. So we had a bit of cover over us. But where the gantry is blocks an entire corner of the pitch off from the corner flag to the edge of the 18-yard box. So that whole section was missing for us. But on an away day, and it's not a bad place to go for an away day on the train, and it's not too far from the train station. There's a good few pubs on that walk as well. It's just got a great charm about it, right in the middle of the community, as Callum mentioned, with those terraces around it. I've put Edgeley Park 3rd. It's one I really like. And I think perhaps it's because I've got that experience of going, and it's a proper old school ground, if a little run down in places. But that away end, it's a proper classic away end.
Interesting stuff.
In hindsight, I do. If I could swap like them and Cardiff, I think that would be fair. So Cardiff can go 13, but then Stockport can go 7.
At least you didn't put Burton as one of the top 12.
Or Northampton.
Or Northampton, Jesus Christ. Wigan Athletic, one of the more historical stadiums, dare I say. I don't want to say, looking at that picture, that it's kind of one of the original bowls, but because it was one of the original bowls, it's actually quite historic in terms of what it looks like. But I've put it towards the bottom. I don't know why. I put it 20th. I wish I could explain that reasoning in hindsight. I can't. But I have put it 20th. So sorry, Wigan fans. Sam?
I've put them 10th. I quite like the ground, and it just reminds me of Roddy Yeager. Whenever I look at the DW, as I call it, I just remember Roddy Yeager or Figueroa. I don't know why, but they're just the two names that pop into my head. So in my head, it's got history about it, even though it's kind of a rugby town, isn't it?
Rugby ground, isn't it? It is my final of the 4 bowl-ish grounds. I've had Reading, Huddersfield, Bolton, and now Wigan. Out of the 4, I've put Wigan the lowest. I've got them in 12th.
12th. Interesting stuff. We come to our final ground then. Sam, where have you put Wycombe and Adams Park?
Well, there's Adam Parks if you're watching on YouTube. There's a lovely picture of it. 19th.
You put them 19th.
19th. I just don't think the ground's got much going for it. It's got a nice one stand. I think it's at the left-hand side from the away end, but just doesn't do it for me, Adams Park.
Jamie?
Yeah, it's a little bit one of those that is gets left by the wayside when you go and make these sort of lists. I put them very close to Sam. I've got them down in 21st. I've never watched a game or watched highlights, whatever it might be, from Adams Park and gone, what a great atmosphere. It seems like one of those grounds that, because of the shape of it or the configuration of the stands, that the atmosphere gets a little bit lost. So I've put them down towards the bottom 21st.
For those who have been keeping a keen eye on our predictions, you'll have noticed that I actually haven't put my a team last yet, which is where Wycombe Wanderers are going last. It's there. I don't really know what to say about it. Like it because the area around it obviously looks so green, which is pretty in a way. You could just take the stands away from it, and it would kind of just feel like a pitch in a park, and it does kind of have that vibe that you're just watching football in a park. To be honest, with some stands around it, it doesn't really add much to it. I don't really think so. There's our rankings. If you head over to our social media onto X, make sure you drop us a follow while you're there. You'll be able to see the average of all of those ratings, and you can tell us how very wrong we are indeed, because I'm sure we've annoyed some of the fans before the season hasn't even begun, and we've probably annoyed half of our fan base. Which, do you know what? I feel like that's the way this season's gonna go.
Just wait till next week.
Yeah, and Huddersfield Town fans, if you want to be rage baited, then please do subscribe to the podcast. We'll see how that goes.
Callum's end. Make sure you watch the review shows with myself and Seb, because we do no rage baiting over there. Only sometimes. But yeah, I mean, the things to keep an eye out on before we do go for the rest of this week. Myself and Sam will be back for the weekly transfer update in a couple of days' time, and then next week is our big pre-season preview, all our predictions and looking ahead to this season before it kicks off, and it's coming around very, very quickly. Just less than 2 weeks now until the first game of the season, so it's getting to that time of year,
and then we'll be back into the swing of things, which is scary that it's come around so fast. I know there are some non-league leagues that are kicking off this weekend, which is, I swear it gets earlier and earlier every single season. But that is it for this episode of the League One Lowdown. Make sure you do subscribe, like the video, and drop a comment. Let us know what your favourite and least favourite stadium is as well. But for now, we'll see you very, very soon.